Welcome to the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Podcast. I'm your host, Patrice Tsague. I'm back with you, and I want to thank, first of all, Wendie Klem and Charles Kears and Charles and those who sat in for me. Wendie, you're back here, but thank you so much for last week and for stepping in for me. How are you this morning, Wendie?
I'm great. We had a great time. D'Amica and I, we just chatted like old friends and forgot we were on camera. So, it was a great little chat. So thanks for having me.
Amen. That's the best way to do it. Well, today I brought Wendie back in studio as a guest because we want to talk about can business coaching help in crisis. Wendie, COVID-19 is still very real to many of us. There's a crisis going around the globe, particularly here in America as well. We're facing both a pandemic crisis. We're also facing a social crisis. We are also facing a political uncertainty, right? And both sides of the aisles are making a case that if the opponent wins, that's the end of America, right? And so either way, America will be over, no matter who wins.
No hubris involved at all, right?
That's right.
None.
So,
well, and here in the South, Patrice, we call it just a hot mess.
That's right.
It's just a hot mess.
So I've actually dedicated a week we're going to have a week where we're going to discuss politics. I'm going to bring a guests in, two on the Democratic side, two on the Republican side, Christian that is. And I want to make a case as to why we as Christians should vote one way or the other. And because I do want our people to be educated as to how to vote as believers. But in any event, so since America will be over no matter who wins for office, so I thought that it'd be good to have you in the studio to talk to us about business coaching because we know that business coaching is a value for businesses, but the question becomes, in moments of crisis, is it helpful, and if so, how? Let's talk about it. So before we get into that, Wendie, let's kind of lay some foundation here. First of all, you are the director of Nehemiah's North America region. By the way, you just recently hosted recently had the Canada Business Plan competition. It was all in French, and you were there. So how does the North America director organizes a competition a graduation competition all in French?
Carefully. With a lot of help. Google Translate. No, with a significant amount of help. We've got a great team in Canada, and even more, we've got a great staff who speak French and are just so amazing to work with. Other than me feeling not quite prepared, they were very prepared. Pastor Gabriel, he's worked 3 years very hard and diligent to teach me some French, and I've got 2 things that I can say, and it took him 3 years, so I figure I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. But you did a lot of meetings. One of the things that you did a lot of meetings with kind of that team to prep the work. You must have been proud because they did pull it off, all the meeting and processes.
They did, they not only pulled it off, they did a very good job. And we get to brag on Manuela Tihinua, who was our Canadian competitor, placed third. And I'm not sure, Patrice, but I think that's the first time we've had a Canadian competitor. Well, I know it's the first time we've had a Canadian competitor represent the region, but she took third place, which she did a great job. So this next year, we're actually going to have a country runoff in Canada because the team is doing so well and just really impacting the entrepreneurs. But, they really worked hard to put in the processes, and they learned a lot. They had to learn a lot of new stuff. And so it was great. I enjoyed working with the team up there a lot. So I'm excited.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I want to kind of just get an update from you about your region before we get into the coaching piece. So you just had the graduation for Canada. That went well, and they're going to go do another class. So which means that really next year you're going, because you've got a number of U.S. people coming through the process. So next year you're going to have a regional competition. How does that feel?
Well, I'm going to have two country competitions,
Wow,
US and Canada. We're still praying to get Haiti. And then I'm going to have a regional. So I figure July's going to be a crazy month. Well, June is going to be a crazy month because by July I have to have all the information to the team and prep for Nehemiah week in Mexico. So it's going to be interesting, Patrice, and no pressure because I think at one point I'm looking at for the U.S. possibly having as many as 7 competitors just
wow,
for the U.S. I
wow.
know, I know. It's like what? This is yeah. It's going to be pretty amazing. So we're excited.
So Wendy, it's been a year and a half for you. So when you look at your progress, how does this year compare to the last year? We about a little bit over halfway into the year. How do you compare the two?
Well, Patrice, as far as my region and the growth, we have had more growth this year than we did last year, as far as my region goes. And, I really attribute that to a lot of foundational stuff. It took me a while, as most entrepreneurs know, it takes a while to get the foundation laid, to begin to get kind of systems in and to kind of get your way on things. And so that last year was a lot of that, a lot of learning. And we had quite a bit of changes within our Nehemiah headquarters processes as well, because the year before we changed our model. And so that was a struggle for last year. But this year, it has really begun to fall in place. And part of it, I believe, is attributed to COVID-19, because a lot of the entrepreneurs realized, yeah, I can't run a business on a wing and a prayer here. Prayer is good, but you've got to have some of the systems and foundational stuff, and then being innovative. We that was our theme last year for the conference, and I think, wow, how appropriate was that last year, right? We talked about being innovative,
Yeah.
and then 2020 is nothing but innovation. And so,
Incredible.
I really do attribute that, and I've seen significant growth in the entrepreneurs who've taken the time to say, okay, let me get my systems in place and let me use this time wisely.
Wow, wow, that is awesome. Let's talk about Nehemiah Week. I know you talked about it last when you guest hosted for me, but I want to know from you. I haven't listened to your podcast. I wish I will. Um, so we went digital. How was that experience for you?
Well, for me, it was great because the last few years I've done all the logistics. So it was great not to have to order food and do a lot of the logistical part of it. That was kind of nice. But for the week itself, Patrice, that was the best Nehemiah week that I have been, and I've been to the last 4. The level of education and speakers, man, they were over the top this year. And that's the feedback that I've gotten from others as well. But just it was just incredible. And I thought that I would be kind of bummed about not being with everyone, because there's something very powerful. And I shared this with my family. When you're standing in a room and there's about 150 people, there's no color, there's no religion, there's no race, there's no politics, there's no economic status. There's nothing but a bunch of people that just want to love Jesus
Mhm.
and just want to make a difference. And I thought, oh, with it being online, I would miss that. but I didn't.
Mm.
That chat was going crazy. And, when we're live, I can't sit and whisper to everybody beside me. So that the chat room was kind of like whispering to your neighbor, right? So I didn't miss that part at all. And I thought I would. So that's what I thought it was the best. I've never attended a conference like that. I thought, oh, sitting in a chair for that long, I thought that would be. And I thought, well, you kind of sit in a chair longer than that when you're live.
Well, for those who missed Nehemiah Week, soon we're going to have Nehemiah Week 2020 on demand. So be on the lookout for it so that those who did attend, you'll have access. As a matter of fact, this week is available for those who did attend. You can go to the eCommunity platform and just go where Nehemiah, where you went before, and you can see the on demand. You can access everything from the worship all the way to all the breakouts, the PowerPoints, the videos. You can access it there. And for those who did not attend Nehemiah Week, in the next couple of weeks, we'll make the on demand available for you as well at a special rate. So be on the lookout for this. So it's going to be $99 essentially, which is 1/3 of the price. And you have access to the entire week. And if you're an equally member, you can use a discount to bring it down further. So be on the lookout for that as you access it. If you want to take advantage of it, just email our office and we'll make sure that you get the information. If you want to email us, just email us at info@nehemiahproject.org, info@nehemiahproject.org. We'll make sure you get the information. So Wendie, we're going to be doing some promos about Nehemiah Week, and part of it's going to be capturing people kind of takeaways. So what would you speak a bit to the audience here? What would be your kind of Nehemiah Week was great because? What would you say?
It was great because of the amount of education. Michael Pink spoke about sales and using scripture as, his rule book, if you will. And, when he talked about that was so powerful. I had never even thought of, about scripture. We teach biblical entrepreneurship, but I had never thought about it going even that deep. And so that was really powerful. And, I'm looking forward to being able to attend a lot of the breakout sessions. And Shay Bynes, oh man, she was amazing. And, when you're an entrepreneur, especially in this season, to be able to have that many speakers speaking of hope and giving practical tools that you can use immediately. Several of the entrepreneurs that I've talked to who've been, D'Amica was one of them. She's already implemented a couple of things that she learned in her business. So there were really practical tools. It wasn't just a lot of speakers. And I love that about this year. So if you're really, and I can't wait. I missed the breakouts where Linda Parker spoke. I can't wait. D'Amica raved on that one. And so really practical tools. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think that's the biggest thing that I took away was that I got some things that I can actually do. Wow. It wasn't talk.
So for you, it was the education of speaker, the quality.
Okay, well, let's be real. Okay, then there's the devotion in the morning. Come on.
Yeah.
We had Pastor Moore twice and Pastor Noella, which was amazing. Expand your tents, dig the stakes in deep. And Pastor Gabriel, yeah. They can see that on Facebook, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people raised by the worship as well. And again, all this is available. If you go back, if you missed any of it, you can go back and take advantage of it. And of course, for those who, once the on-demand is available, you can take advantage of it. Again, I'm talking to Wendie Klem, the Regional Director for the Nehemiah Project. We're going to talk about can business coaching help in a time of crisis. So Wendie, let's kind of get into it. So crisis is defined in the dictionary as a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. A time when a difficult and important decision must be made. crisis, a time of difficulty. And right now, entrepreneurs all over the world are facing crisis. They're facing pandemic crisis. They're facing economic crisis. In the U.S., they're facing racial crisis, tension, economic, social tension. You think about if your business right now is located in downtown Portland, or if your business is located somewhere in Milwaukee, or in some of those cities where there are all that tension. I mean, Lord, I mean, how does an entrepreneur survive? And I've heard about even businesses being boarded and an entrepreneur having to just face the tension, innocent bystanders between them and those who may be protesting, but those who are going beyond protesting to actually attack entrepreneurs. So let's talk about it. So do you, I guess the obvious question is this: in midst of these crises and entrepreneurs watching and listening to us right now, can coaching help? And if so, why?
Well, Patrice, I believe coaching can always help. The challenge with coaching is what you do with it, right? Because if you have a coach and you don't take action with what they're coaching you with, that's a problem. And see, that's the problem a lot of entrepreneurs have had, right? Is the taking action, or, as I mentioned, having the tools to know what to do. Because right now there's a lot of stuff coming at us, a lot of, as you said, decisions that have to be made. Do I cut my hours? Do I keep going? Do I lay my employees off? Do I bring them back? All of these questions, and oftentimes entrepreneurs feel alone. Before I came on board with Nehemiah, I was an entrepreneur, and I felt that alone. That what do I do with the decision? So the coaching allows you to bounce the idea off someone, and a good coach is going to come with tools as well, so that you can think through. Because one of the problems we do is we get emotional. I mean, come on, you can't help but be emotional. Turn on the news. I mean, it's coming at you 10 ways to Sunday, right? I mean, it's fear, fear, fear. Doesn't matter where you're standing, the whole world's going to implode. It's just crazy. So how do we make those decisions without all of the emotion? And so sometimes working with a coach and working with the practical tools that you can take that emotion out of the decision. Mm-hmm. Some of the tools that we have, Patrice, it's very systematic, right? It's the facts, ma'am, just the facts, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that the how the saying goes? So being able to really look at those facts, and then sometimes, again, how to analyze them. And that can be a challenge as well. And then when you throw in the emotion, the fear. So I think that's one of the best things that a coach can bring to an entrepreneur, is that unbiased place, and to begin to look at things orderly, systematically, and helping the entrepreneurs make those decisions. Because, as we know, if you make it a decision out of fear or desperation, that usually doesn't end well.
Wow. I like the point you make, because in a time of crisis, it is very easy for us as entrepreneurs, or even just as humans, to default into the emotional space, right? Mm-hmm. Take it personal. And in doing so, it makes it difficult for us to come up with the right solution, the right strategy, because we get emotional about it, right? And as a result, that emotion cloud our judgment. So are you then telling me that the coach kind of helps us process that, because they have, as we said, no dog in the fight?
That's right.
That's the third party processing, because really coaching, well, let's go back a little bit. Make sure we define what coaching is to our listeners and viewers. Coaching, the element of coaching is assigned asking questions and listening. So that person is asking question, listening, so that it's about helping me come up with my own solution, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
right? And let's talk about it, because for some entrepreneurs, they want you to do it for them. They want you to be a consultant. That's not really
Yes.
what coaching is. Talk to us a
And
bit about that.
consulting is considerably more expensive too, because
Yeah.
then they're doing the work for you. You know, Patrice, I believe that God, as a biblical entrepreneur, we believe that the business is God's and we are here to steward it. And
Mhm.
I believe that the Lord has given us each the tools that we need to steward his business, or he wouldn't have called us to it, right? And I mean, it's just kind of, again, look at the facts. Well, if that's the truth, then I believe we probably already know intuitively some of the answers. It's just being able to ask the questions, or getting someone to help get us out of our own way so we can answer the questions. Because if I know how to build the widget, I don't need somebody to tell me how to build the widget. What I need somebody to do is get rid of all of the yuck so that I can focus on the build the widget. And that's one of the challenges we have in a crisis, right? Because in a crisis, then all of the other stuff begins to layer on. The fear, the worry, we've put masks on so we can't see one another. We've had to distance ourselves, so we begin to feel separate. So when you work with a coach, then you can begin to peel all of that stuff off, take the mask off, if you will, and then begin to just ask the questions, or even better, let the coach ask the questions, because you have the answer. We just need you to get rid of the stuff. And that's what I have found in my coaching. I've never truly coached anyone that they didn't already have a pretty good idea of the answer. It's just that the other stuff got in the way. And it's usually fear, either fear of
Wow.
success or fear of failure.
As you were talking, the thought that I had in mind is, many times the entrepreneur is in unknowing denial,
Yeah,
right? So, and the only way to get out of that is I got to be vulnerable, because I don't know what I don't know, and therefore I'm in denial about what I don't know, and I don't know that I'm in denial. There's almost
right.
this vicious cycle happening,
That's right.
and in a sense, the coaching process helps you to be able to first of all recognize where you are. You know this. You know the way GPS works. A GPS cannot work unless it first knows where you are.
Hmm.
Right. I remember I was somewhere trying to figure my way to get my way from there for the GPS. The GPS couldn't help me because it didn't know where I was. So I had to reset it for it to find out where I was, and then it could give me a map or path to go from where I was to where I was going. So
Yep.
if I'm in unknown denial, I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know that I don't know it, and don't know that I'm denying I'm in denial about knowing it, right? So that process of asking questions and listening, the coach helps for you to know, first, that you don't know, second, that you're not willing to admit you don't know, third, to admit you don't know, and then come to the place where you say, you know what? And then once you get to that place, then for some reason the answers start coming from the inside of you, because you're right, you have the answers, but those answers cannot come out of you if you are in denial, and if you're unwilling to admit that you don't know.
That's right. That's right. And the other part of that too, Patrice, is that safe space. As an entrepreneur, you're the head of the company. You got to look like you know what you're doing. And I think as an entrepreneur, sometimes we get caught up in that, feeling like, well, I got to show the world I know what I'm doing, because they aren't going to buy from me. They aren't going to hire me. My employees aren't going to respect me. We get caught up in that trap, so that we are afraid to ask for help or be vulnerable, as you said. And that's one of the places where a coach also can help with that trusted relationship, because that's a place for the entrepreneur to say, I don't know.
Mm.
And there's no judgment, like you said, no dog in that show, right? There's no judgment in that. And I think that sometimes that's one of the most powerful parts of coaching, is when you know in this meeting, in this hour or whatever, I don't have to be that person because I'm hiring you to help me figure it out. And so I think that that's also something that's kind of a magical thing that happens with a really good coach is that they can be authentic and say, I don't know what I don't know.
I love it. So you've been an entrepreneur, and then you've worked with Nehemiah in trying to build this North America division. You've talked about your story as to how you could have used a coach as an entrepreneur and that experience. So talk to us a bit about that experience when you were in business and what coaching, what the challenge you had because you didn't have the coach in dealing with crisis. And then talk to us about now as the director of trying to build a region and how coaching has helped you in that process manage crisis or at least develop. Could you give us a contrast so we can kind of get a sense for us from your experience?
Sure. Um, so I had a company. I had about 20 employees, about 150 accounts, and I was hemorrhaging cash. I was really struggling with that, and so I sought help, and I started by I hired a coach, and this is where it's really important that you kind of have the right relationship because I would have to send over a list of things that I was going to accomplish that day, the accountability piece. And the problem was that they never asked me any questions because Patrice, I'm the person who'll get up and do it. I'm going to get up and do it, and having a to-do list and getting things done isn't the problem. So I would send a list, and she was like, "Oh wow, you get a lot done. Wow, you're sure getting a lot done." Instead of stopping and saying, "Are those the right things you should have done? Did they move your dial?" Right? So I hired a coach. It was not a good experience, and I felt like I got a cheerleader, and I've got cheerleaders. And then I sought outside counsel because that's what the Bible tells us to do. And so I sought outside counsel. And part of the problem is I'll never forget, I was sitting there, and this was an organization that a lot of respect, a lot of people go to for help. And I'm sitting there, and the guy is telling me to do some stuff, and I'm like, that's not in alignment with my values. I'm not. Why would you tell me to do that? And I'll never forget sitting there about halfway through. I just got up and walked out after saying, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. Why would I just got up and walked away. And so then I had to kind of figure it out on my own. And it was hard, and it was a big struggle. And I kept thinking, if I could have just had a coach then, someone who is in alignment with my values, someone who listened and was there to kind of guide me. So it was a really big struggle. And so then your other question was, as a regional director building the region, I have a coach. I do have a coach. And I check in with my coach every Friday. And Deborah Schlott is my coach, and it's been great because she is in alignment with my values. And one of the most powerful things working with a kingdom business coach is there are days when, as an entrepreneur, like now in the middle of this crisis, where I am afraid and I'm feeling beat down and I'm frustrated and I just want to run away or scream. And this is what having a good coach does. That's okay. Now let's pray. You're angry? Okay, tell me about it. Okay, now let's pray. Let's take it to the Lord. This is the problem. Let's take it to the Lord. And now let's look at some tools to move beyond that. That's a very powerful piece for me because sometimes when we get in that cycle, right, the fear, we watch the news, businesses are still being shut down. I've got rioting going here. People are being destroyed. And then you watch the political stuff. And as you said, the world is going to end on November 5th because, the wrong party's going to be elected. I don't know, whatever. But again, you see all of that, right? And so there's so much of that. But to have someone say, stop. I understand that you're overwhelmed, but let's take this to the Lord because He's the one who's got this. And then let's look at, okay, so what can we do today? And kind of redirect that focus. And that's what a coach really, a business coach helps you do. Because the other piece is, I think we get caught. It's like a stuck record. Remember, okay, I'm aging myself. Remember when you had records and there was a thing and it just kept playing it over and over and over and over again?
Wait, for the millennials out there, that's the round piece of
I said I aged myself. I did age myself. I know.
I love it. Like, what's the record?
It's the tape that you're just stuck on that same thing over and over. And that's kind of what we do when we're very emotional. And that's, I think, really another very powerful piece to having a coach is they move the needle off the record and say, let's throw the record out and let's go to iTunes and just download something new. I don't know. Let's bring the millennials in on this.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm talking to Wendie. We're talking about, can business coaching help in crisis? So Wendie has a number of coaching programs coming up. So let me kind of give you a sense of the way that the coaching program that Nehemiah does works. So Nehemiah, every e-community center provides business coaching. If you're in Kenya, that center provides it. And if you are in the US, Wendie centers provide it. Wherever you are, those centers provide the coaching. And so they have personalized coaching. By the way, if you're an e-community member, you can access coaching. If you're a Diamond member, you have access to coaching. You can coordinate with a coach for 1 hour a month. 30 minutes a month as part of your Diamond benefit. And you can just schedule and have yourself assigned to whoever you want, whether myself, Wendie, or any other coach, or just leave it open and somebody will be assigned to you. And you have that as a Diamond member for no fee to you. Just schedule that moment to receive coaching on once a month. For some people, that's enough. Just being a Diamond member and getting that 30-minute monthly coaching is enough. There are a number of people that we coach that way because based on where they are, what needs they have, that's all they need, or their budget does not allow them to do anything more than that. And so that's the Diamond membership. But before even the Diamond membership, look at the Gold members. If you're a Gold member of the e-community and Diamond member, you have access to the coaching forum. This is where you can ask questions, whatever, it's 24 hours a day. It's being overseen by a coach. You can have questions that you can ask and others can chime in as well. And a coach can respond to you, right? So that's for Gold and Diamond members. So if you're budget constrained and you need help, just become a Gold or Diamond member and you can have access to the coaching forum. Diamond member, you can have the coaching forum. Plus, you also have that 30 minutes a month that you have access to a coach. And you can connect with, particularly if you like Wendie and that's who you want, then every month just meet with Wendie and she's now your coach meeting with you for 30 minutes a month. Then the next step from there, we have the Business Success Accelerator or the group coaching, the business coaching. That's going to be our focus. We're going to talk about that aspect of coaching. But for the group coaching, you have, when I'm going to have Wendie talk about it in a few minutes. So you have the group coaching. And then for those of you who feel like, you know what, I don't need the peer-to-peer feature the group coaching provides. I need a lot more customized help, a lot more one-on-one. You can do customized coaching. This is where a coach like Wendie will work with you on a customized experience where she'll schedule time with you, meet with you, work with you, and how many hours she work with you on. It depends on your budget. There are some folks that we work with for an hour a month, some people that work with an hour a week or more. All depends on the situation. We call that customized coaching. It's one-on-one with your own customized experience. And by the way, you still have access to the forum. And if you're a Diamond member, you still have an additional 30 minutes a month that you can access your one-on-one customized experience with. And the fourth level, is the elite coaching. If you have a growing enterprise, you have employees, and you need one or more coaches to work with you in your company, You say, Wendie, could you come and bring a team of coaches to help me grow my practice? She can do that for elite coaching. It's a little more expensive, but you get a coach with others to address not only your situation, but also to address your overall company situation. And so that gets you to help. That's the elite coach, elite customers. So you have the group coach, I mean, the forum coaching, which is the virtual coaching. You have the 30-minute coaching for diamond members. You have the customized coaching. You have the group coaching, and you also have the elite coaching. So those are the various coaching products that are available through the e-community centers. No matter where you are around the world, you can access it. So Wendie, you have a group coaching program coming up that I want to talk about. But so first, what is that? What is we normally call it BSA, or Business Success Accelerator. What is the Business Success Accelerator? What is that? What are some of the features?
Well, Patrice, this is a group, maximum is 12 individuals who come together. They meet once a month. Both of the two groups that we will be launching are going to meet virtually, and you meet as a group. There's videos that you get in between. There's tools that you get to help you, and a little bit of an educational component as well. But the idea is that there are tools that we're going to be using to build your business. So you get 3 hours of group coaching. I also like to call a little bit of a mastermind, because you're coming together in a group to also address challenges that you're facing, because there's something powerful when you link arms like that. Because, if I've figured out how to make that particular thing work and you're trying to figure it out, how awesome is it that we can collaborate on that? And I think that that's a very powerful, it's one of my favorite parts about the group coaching, or the masterminding piece of it. You also get 1 hour of one-on-one coaching. That's that customized coaching, to go a little bit deeper to address a particular issue. And then you get an accountability partner. Now, this is really very, very important, because the world gets busy. We get busy. But in order to move from one place to the next, we do need an accountability partner. We need somebody who's going to hold us accountable for the action steps that we're talking about. And that's part of one of the benefits of the group, is you get an accountability partner that you meet once a month. And those accountability partners, they lift each other up in prayer. They support one another. They hold each other accountable to the actions that they're looking to do. But it's a relationship that builds as well. And that's very powerful, especially as entrepreneurs who are struggling in seasons like this where they're feeling alone. This gives you that added benefit as well. It is a 12-month program. We actually have modules that we go through each month. So we'll be addressing all the various areas of your business, and again, providing you those tools. So there's an assessment at the beginning, and we, as you mentioned, Patrice, we need to know where you're at. We need to know where you're starting, and we need to know where you want to go. And then that's what that group will help walk with you on that. And so I am very excited to be launching the two groups that we have starting here, coming through the Orlando Center. We've got several groups that have been happening here in Orlando. So we're really, really, really excited to be doing this.
Awesome. And we'll get into those groups. And by the way, if you're in Kenya, I know that you can't join these groups. If you're in Africa, I know there's some groups happening in Africa as well. You can join those groups as well if you're there. So let's talk about some of the features there, Brian. Wendie, sorry, we're gonna get into the various groups. So you mentioned the peer-to-peer, the 3-month, the 3-hour group session. So what's the key benefit for that? Why would I want to be part of a group session versus just me as an individual? What's the value of that peer-to-peer 3-hour session with a group?
Well, the masterminding, as I said, is a very valuable component, because we each have been in business We've been doing this. And so to be able to learn from one another, we talked about earlier about, that feeling that the buck stops here, that need to be viewed a certain way. But in this group is, again, a safe place that you don't have to, because these are people in the same seat you're in.
Mm.
And so to be able to learn from one another, to be able to grow, and to be able to talk some things out. One of the things that, we connect with different people different ways. And so to be in a group, to be able to connect with that, I think is very powerful. There's very strong relationships that come out of these groups.
Wow, awesome. And what I love about that too is that you almost get the coach's insights, but you get, 12 other people around the table. You get a collective wisdom to
That's right.
kind of guide and help you along the way. And then you talk about this feature of the accountability partner. Why is that important in this process?
Well, Patrice, I mentioned that I had a coach. It didn't go very well, and part of that was because I didn't have an accountability partner. She didn't really hold me accountable. Yes, I did the assignment and turned it in, but she wasn't holding me accountable for the growth that I was looking for. She wasn't, she was just, yes, you accomplished the task. Good. You
Mm,
could check it off the box.
mm,
So that accountability partner, a good accountability partner is going to listen to your reasons and then help you get results. Because
wow.
that was one of the things I loved. You either have reasons or you have results. You cannot have both.
I
Okay. You
love it.
cannot have both. So a good accountability partner is going to let you give your reasons, but they're going to expect you to get results.
Wow. And in this case, it's a peer, right? It's another
Exactly.
entrepreneur in the group, which makes a difference. You're walking it together, right? And
Yeah.
then you mentioned another feature, which is the 1 hour coaching just by myself. What's the benefit of that particular feature?
That goes deeper. That allows you to go deeper, whether it's the area you're working on that month, or whether it's another area that you are specifically working on within your business. I'll give you a good example. So for right now, for me, I am actively looking to build my team. Well, going deeper with my coach is going to allow me to kind of go deeper with that, giving me some ideas, some guidance, and some tools to focus on. Whereas that might not be what we're working on within the group, but that's my most immediate need. And so that one-on-one allows me to address that. Or it may be that we just didn't go deep enough in the group, or it uncovered some things that I want to go deeper with the coach. And so that gives me that opportunity to do that as well.
Mm. I like it. So it sounds almost like the group coaching is almost like the best value because I get the one-on-one that I would get as a customized client, but I also get this other benefit of the group and the 3 hour with the group. So it's almost like I get 4 hours for that
Yeah.
month and all those benefits. You also talk about the education, the topical the education component. Why is that piece important? What's the purpose of that?
Well, remember, Patrice, you mentioned earlier, I don't know what I don't know.
Mm,
Now you don't know. Now you know. Now you know what you don't know,
mm,
because that's going to help address some different things. So that educational piece is going to kind of give you a little bit of a foundation. And for those who are biblical entrepreneurs, um, that component is important because we scripture is our foundation. That's the smartest book. That's where we go to the smartest guy in the room, and we want to learn from him, so that's why we go to the Bible. And so it helps us with that as well. So that educational component, I I believe it helps you know the questions to ask. One of the things that I got so aggravated as an entrepreneur is it's not that I couldn't make a good decision. I
mm,
just didn't even know what questions to ask.
mm,
And when you don't know what questions to ask, that's when you get in trouble. I remember when I'm going to date myself. So when I was getting ready to start taking credit card processing, which is when it wasn't, so easy, I was going to have to hire a company. And so I met a guy networking. What he had sounded good. It sounded like it might work. And so I had a meeting and we were going to sit down and he was going to show me the program. Well, another lady I knew, she's like, you know what? I'm getting ready to do the same thing. You mind if I sit in on your meeting? And I'm like, sure, no problem. So he told me his spiel, and I thought, wow, this looks really good. And then she asked one question: what if I don't sell my minimum? If I'd have signed that contract, it would have cost me almost $300 a month for credit card processing that I wasn't getting. Because I was new.
Whether you sold or not.
Whether I sold or not, because I wouldn't hit my minimum, because most of my clients still paid by check. So very few of them were going to give me a credit card. We're talking 15 years ago.
Wow.
And because I didn't even know that question to ask. It's not like he didn't tell us the truth. It wasn't like he was honest, but because I didn't ask, he didn't tell me. So that's what happens here in this group coaching setting. Because if you don't know the questions to ask, and that is unfortunately just one instance where I didn't know the questions, which is why I look back and say, if I could have just had a group like this, I would have been in a different place, because I would have made some different decisions because I'd have known the questions to ask.
Wow. So Wendie is hosting a number of BSA, or Business Success Accelerator, group coaching programs coming up, where some of the features that you'll get by being a part of it, you'll get an assigned coach, certified Kingdom Business coach that will be working with you with about no more than 12 other entrepreneurs in a peer-to-peer setting, a roundtable setting, where you can tap into all of that knowledge and wisdom. And the program is designed intentionally for you to help you leverage the experience and the insights from other entrepreneurs, facilitated by a certified Kingdom Business coach. With that, also, you will get 3 hours of that group coaching. You'll also get education that will come on a monthly basis. You'll also get one-on-one customized coaching with that once a month for 1 hour. You will also get assigned to an accountability partner within the group that you'll meet with once a month to work through issues that you're struggling with, or just to hold you accountable. Great program, great feature. So when you tell us about what you have coming up, and the class you have coming up, and how they can take advantage of it.
So we have 2 groups that are being launched. Our first group is for the women in business. And we're being very focused on the needs of the group. So because there's 12 women, and we've acknowledged, one of the things we've talked about with our women in business is some of the challenges that women have, just straight up because that's how God created us, right? And as women entrepreneurs. So we're launching our first BSA for women in business. And then the second BSA group is going to be for the urban impact, under the urban impact umbrella. So Charles Kurse and Patrice will be launching that one. Deborah Schlott and I will be doing the women in business. And again, because of the smallness, the number of individuals within the group, and wanting to leverage that collective knowledge, that's one of the reasons we're being very specific on the group. So the women in business, as well as the urban impact group, both of them will be starting in October. The urban impact starts on October 1st, and the women in business starts on the 21st of October. Now they meet once a month, and they do that for a year. And so, because, Patrice, just a couple of times is not going to be enough to really get your business where you want to go, which is why we make it a 12-month commitment. Because see, we as coaches are committing to help them reach their goals. And so this is the best way we believe that we can do that. So, really excited. Those who have been working with Deborah and I through Identity and Destiny, the Biblical Entrepreneurship class, this a lot of them will be going into the BSA, because that's next steps, right? That is continuing to grow their business.
Wow, that is awesome. So Wendie, so obviously I need to be a woman to join the Women in Business Success Accelerator Group Coaching. Uh, so the urban one, I know you're calling it urban, but do I have to live in an urban community, be an urban entrepreneur to join that one?
No, you do not. We're the difference is it's being offered under our urban impact umbrella, if you will. So Charles Kurse, who is the director of the urban impact, it's coming under his division, if you will. So it's open to everyone, and we encourage everyone. The first person who registered happens to be a woman, so it is both. The idea is that we're going to come together and learn and grow together. So we're calling Urban Impact, but it's just mainly because it's coming underneath that division, just like the Women in Business is coming under our Women in Business movement.
I love it. Hey, if you are facing crisis right now, or you want to prepare yourself to close the year strong, to make sure that you're prepared for whatever crisis may come up, connect with Wendie so you can be a part of this upcoming group coaching. You have two options. You have the Women in Business one, and you have the Urban Impact one, to help you through a peer basis, kind of roundtable way, to get the assistance you need to help navigate whether you're facing the social crisis, the economic crisis, or the pandemic. You're trying to figure out how to make sure your business survives, thrives, stay ahead, be innovative. Join those groups. You can contact Wendie at Wendie@NehemiahProject.org, Wendie@NehemiahProject.org, or there are links right there where you can go to find out how to register, to sign up, or to get more information. Wendie, so for the entrepreneurs who are joining these group coaching programs, 12 months from now, what can they expect? What will be the outcome? 12 months from now, when they look back, what can they what can they say they've received? Could you kind of take us forward and give us a sense of the value that they would have been received as a result?
So as an entrepreneur, the first thing you're going to do when you come into the BSA class is you're going to set your goals, okay? Because we got to know where you're at, and we've got to know where you want to go. And that's going to be pretty big indication, because as we take those tools and put them into place, at the end of 12 months, you should have strengthened all of the areas of your business, because we address all of them in the group. And as you begin to identify those that need additional work, that's your one-on-one coaching. So if you can imagine that you're building your foundation, and each month you're building on a different room, but you still are laying the foundation. So as we begin to layer on each month and strengthen it, at the end of 12 months, you should have systems in place. You should be able to measure your business success, whether it's in your marketing, whether it's in your goal setting, whether it's in your kingdom impact or your key performance indicators, any of those things. You should be able to measure them and know, am I on track or am I off track? You'll have also developed very strong relationships with no more than 12 other entrepreneurs. And so at the end of 12 months, to know that you have a group of people that you've just invested your time in and they've invested yours in, that's a group that you will walk away with. Those are relationships that will extend beyond that. But at the end of the day, it's what do you want to accomplish, because that's what you will accomplish in 12 months.
Wow.
Because you'll be specific.
Coaching is a powerful tool. Bill Gates, we all know him. He's only one of the leading wealthiest men in the world. He said everyone needs a coach. And he talked about
Yeah.
what coaching has done for him. The CEO of Google talks about what coaching has done for him. What's his name? Tony Robbins talked about the power of coaching. Our very own Tom Mears, the retired CEO and chairman of Burgerville's, talk in his book "Serve with Love," talked about how coaching helped them to turn that company into an iconic brand in the Pacific Northwest, going to over $100 million a year. So coaching is powerful. I'm a product of it. So is Wendie as well. So I encourage
Yes.
you as you consider how to navigate the current crisis you're facing, as you consider how to deal with closing your year strong, preparing for 2021. The best investment you can make is in coaching. And so, Wendie, again, tell them about what's coming up and how they can take advantage of it.
Well, we have our BSA for Women in Business. It's going to be starting on October 1st, or I'm sorry, October 21st. And our BSA for under the Urban Impact umbrella, which will be starting on October 1st. So we'll meet once a month for 3 hours. So you can go to, we've put the links here. You can register for either one. We encourage you to do that, or you can reach out to me if you just want some more information. You have some other questions. And Patrice, they can also use their e-community membership.
That's right.
So if you're a diamond member, you'll get 30% off. So I encourage you to check out our membership as well. Take advantage of that and check out the BSA. You can reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Awesome. If you reach out to Wendie, go to go to Wendie at NehemiahProject.org. Wendie at NehemiahProject.org. Well, Wendie, we're preparing for our retreat coming up, our global retreat in September, in the month of September, to plan for 2021. So as you look ahead, what's one or two things that as you look ahead, closing the year and 2021, what can we expect out of your division?
Well, you can expect to see new business development seminars that are going to be starting in September. We have our first for our women in business on using the whole armor for spiritual and physical health. So we're excited about that. You're going to be seeing additional business development seminars each month. You'll see identity and destiny classes that'll be happening each quarter, as well as our biblical entrepreneurship courses. You're going to see more of the BSAs. Prayerfully, we will be launching one that will meet live out of the Orlando Center here after the first of the year, depending on where COVID's at. But we'll always keep our virtual component. And Patrice, the power of a coach, the power of a retreat. I'm going to go with my coach and spend a week with my coach doing my strategic planning for next year. We did this past year and looking forward to it. So we're going to meet the same, we're getting together for our staff retreat, and her and I are going to go to a lodge. And so we'll do staff retreat, and then we're going to be working together for additional planning. But that's the power of you doing a coach, is to be able to think through those things.
I
So that's
love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Wendie. Wendie, going to have you come back and to tell us more what's happening. So, Wendie, as we close here, entrepreneurs around the world are watching and listening as they consider how to navigate the crisis they're currently facing between now and the end of the year. Other than coaching, what advice would you want to leave them with?
Keep your face on the Lord. Keep your eyes on the Lord. He is in control. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. You have the Holy Spirit, and you have Nehemiah Project. You have a team of coaches, trainers, prayer team, and we're here to walk this out with you.
Wow. Amen. Well said. Thank you so much. Wendie, again, thank you. Wendie Klem, the director, regional director for North America. She this year had this third place winner for the International Business Plan competition. And she oversees Haiti, the Caribbean, Haiti, the Caribbeans, Canada, and the United States of America. Wendie, thank you so much. Talking about how
Thank
to
you, Patrice.
navigate crisis by using coaching. That coaching can help you navigate whatever crisis you're going through. She has some coaching programs coming up. Take advantage of it. Reach out to her and be a part. With that said, let me leave you with this. If you enjoyed this podcast, share with your friends. Share it with people on your social media, Facebook. Share with, you may know somebody who could use coaching. Share this with them. Even if they don't take advantage of our coaching program, at least they can be educated and hopefully be encouraged by this session. Also, Jolison said, really interesting. Thank you so much. Yes, Jolison, we appreciate that. Jolison from, I think he's from Madagascar. Also, go to our website, nehemiahecommunity.com, nehemiahecommunity.com. There you can learn not only about our coaching program, but about all the other programs that we have to help you grow your business, whether it's training, whether it's coaching, whether it's access to capital. And you can also learn how to become a member of the e-community so that together we can transform the world. With that said, let me pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents that you have under your care and to steward them in such a way that one day you can hear those wonderful words. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. Guess what? He'll now make you rule over much. God bless you. See you next time. Wendie, thank you again so much.
Thank you.